owing in part to the increasing lack of available ground for burial space. Upwards of 70% of all funerals in the UK now involve cremations. The cost of the funeral service itself doesn't vary much between a ground burial and a cremation, though there are price variables in other areas. For example, those who opt for a ground burial will not have to pay crematorium fees, and those who choose cremation typically don't pay for burial services, though that is an option. The decision between a ground burial and a cremation is very personal, and often not an easy one to make. For those who may be considering cremation, here is a look at the process itself from beginning to end. Arranging for a cremation. Just as with a ground burial, families who opt for cremation often seek the assistance of a funeral director to help them with the arrangements, which can include planning a traditional funeral service, as well as helping them follow the protocol and secure the documentation necessary for the cremation procedure. If a family doesn't wish to utilize the services of a funeral director, members of the Charter for the Bereaved established by the Institute of Cemetery and Crematorium Management will help them navigate the cremation process. The cremation process. Within 72 hours of the funeral service, the decedent should be cremated inside of his coffin. According to ICCM guiding principles, it is possible for the family to view the cremation, as many crematoriums offer on-site viewing areas, such as a room wired with CCTV, or an area overlooking the crematory. Since each coffin is secured through the use of an identity card throughout the entire process, and there is only room for one coffin at a time in the crematory, the family is ensured that there will be no chance of error. After the cremation. Concerning the ashes, the crematorium that performs the cremation is required to abide by the instructions of the family member, or other representative, who submitted the application. While the family will most likely decide what to do with the ashes of the decedent in fairly short order, there is no immediate rush to make a final decision, as each crematorium generally has a clean and secure site where the ashes can be held until the decision is made. Ashes caskets, scatter tubes and urns. When a decision is made regarding what to do with the ashes, the family will then decide how to store and transport the ashes. If the decedent's ashes will be scattered on the water, for example, the family would purchase a scatter tube, which is a cylindrical vessel that comes in several sizes and can be personalized, or purchased already adorned. If the family chooses not to scatter the ashes, and instead would like to keep them, they can opt for either an ashes casket or an urn. An ashes casket is usually made of wood, such as oak or mahogany, and its outer design looks similar to a full-size casket. However, it is much smaller, of course. A traditional urn looks much like a flower vase with a sealed lid, and both the ashes casket and urn come in a variety of sizes, just as scatter tubes do. The decision of whether to bury the remains of a loved one or to have them cremated is a wholly personal one, and one path is not better than the other. Those left to decide do not make the decision lightly, because they understand that it is a final act of love.